UFC Fight Night Vegas 13, Santos versus Teixeira takes place this weekend, and there are a ton of great names on the card. However, there are a bunch of guys on the card that I feel like aren't getting the spotlight they deserve and are flying a little bit under the radar. So this is my video on the fighters to watch out for at UFC Vegas 13, starting with the heavyweight man himself, Alexander Romanov, undefeated heavyweight, 12-0, takes on Marcos Rodrigo de Lima on the prelims of this card. I don't know why it's on the prelims. They seem to give some heavyweights main card slots on pay-per-views, and then they give Romanov, undefeated monster, a prelim slot again after his last performance. But still, I don't mind it. This is a correct progression. If he wins this one though, I would like to see him get a spotlight on the main card or maybe the prelims of a pay-per-view, something along those lines. But still, in his last performance, I know his last opponent wasn't too good, but he was 15-5, okay? So he's beaten some guys, and Romanov at least made him look like the can he was. And I'll tell you this, Roque Martinez, if nothing else, is obese, okay? So for Romanov to go out there and just toss him through the air, I've never seen someone manhandle. It looked so difficult to do, but Romanov just ragdolled him, took him to the ground. I mean, if the only thing Roque Martinez had a chance in that fight with was gravity, I'll be honest with you. If he could just out-gravity Romanov, maybe he would stand a chance in the grappling, but Romanov was having none of it, got straight on top, smashed his brains in, basically. 12-0, undefeated guy, very, very, very dangerous, fighting out of Moldova. Extremely dangerous, man. He's beat a lot of good guys in his career, and I've been talking about this guy for a while. He lost his first fight, which was an amateur bout. Then he went pro, won against a guy 4-2, 1-1, 4-0, 2-0, then a can, 12-37, don't mind him, 0-0, 20-5. Now he's starting to pick things up a bit, 2-0, 16-7, 6-3, 6-1. And for a heavyweight to be finding this level of competition, I like it. Okay, and for the fact that he's finishing literally every single person in his career so far, I don't know why the UFC has not pounced on this opportunity to market him on a main card. But okay, I'm okay with it, because you know what, everyone on the main card deserves to be there. But I will say this, he's an undefeated heavyweight, 12-0, all of his fights have been finished. I think he's going to keep it going against Marcos Rodrigo de Lima. I do believe he will go out there and get a TKO finish or an arm triangle choke. It will definitely be a finish in the first 2 rounds, in my opinion. But this is a tough test for him, in my opinion. The best opponent of his career so far, Marcos Rodrigo de Lima, has shown us in his recent performances he's not going anywhere anytime soon. Last KO'd Ben Sassoli in the first round with a wicked KO punch. I know he used to be a little bit smaller, and now he's a bit bigger. But still, there's a lot of guys that Marcos Rodrigo de Lima... There's a lot of skills that Marcos Rodrigo de Lima brings to the table. One of them is the fact that he's a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt. So, we will see how Romanov handles a guy on the ground who has credentials in grappling. Now, I know that a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt can kind of mean nothing nowadays because so many people have them. So it's kind of a little bit watered down at this point, because Marcos Rodrigo de Lima put his head into a triangle against Stefan Struve. Now, I know Struve's got long legs, but still... You know what I mean? There's different levels of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt. I don't think Marcos Rodrigo de Lima is at the level that Romanov is in the grappling game, because Jiu-Jitsu is one aspect of grappling. And this is what we learn about Khabib. Every single time Khabib goes out there, you learn it every single time. Jiu-Jitsu, wrestling. Someone brings to the table jiu-jitsu. Someone brings to the table wrestling. But the grappler will always win. And I feel like that's what Romanov brings to the table here against Marcos Rodrigo de Lima. I could see him going out there, getting straight on top. And the thing that I like about Romanov as well is that he doesn't rush the takedown. He will go out there and throw an inside leg kick and throw a body kick and sting a jab out there. He does not swing haymakers, which is how Ben Sassoli got caught against Marcos Rodrigo de Lima. I don't see de Lima catching him, because Romanov plays the range game so well on the feet, and he's either in all the way or he's all the way out. And I like that about Romanov. I think he'll get the job done this weekend. Pay attention to him on this card, because if he wins, 13-0, and if he finishes, 13-0, all by finish. And we've got something on our hands in heavyweight. Heavyweight's a great division right now. Moving on to another guy on the card you guys need to pay attention to. I know you already know him, but he has not been around for a while, so I thought I'd re-jog some of your memories. Hani Barcelos is on the card, and people seem to forget very quickly who this man is. He joined the UFC quite some time ago in 2018, and we haven't seen him in a while because he hasn't fought since December of 2019. I know a lot of guys have already had their shot on a quarantine card so far, but Raoni Barcelos is Brazilian, which means basically he has a standard level of Rona syndrome for some bizarre reason, because every single Brazilian gets caught with it on the card. It's crazy how much of them are testing positive for it, but still, he had to pull out of his fight with Cody Stamann. That was in the March Columbus card, so I don't even think he's had a fight scheduled. I take that back about the whole Rona syndrome thing. I just said it because he was Brazilian. Fingers crossed he makes it to this one, but still, he was supposed to fight at UFC Columbus against Cody Stamann. That fight got pulled. He has not had a fight rebooked this entire time until now. He's not an old guy. He is a little bit. He's a little bit of an old guy, but in his performances, I don't see a man who's slowing down, because his last performance, even though he's 35, he does not seem like a guy who's losing it at this point in his career. So I think if he does win this one, he definitely deserves a big jump up the rankings against someone who's pretty credentialed. Maybe they could rebook the Cody Stamann fight. I know Cody Stamann might have just fell out of a fight with someone else. I'll check right now, because I think Cody Stamann fell out of his fight with Merab Dvalishvili, which he did. Maybe they could rebook that fight. It would make all the sense in the world, and we've got to rush Raoni Barcelos to the top. But I want to say this. The reason why I didn't say he's an old fighter per se, because he was 34 when he went out there and beat Said Nurmagomedov by unanimous decision. And I know that his name is Nurmagomedov, and usually you don't expect those guys to lose, but still, they do lose, okay? And Raoni Barcelos is a reason for him losing. Now, it was a very close fight, don't get me wrong, but I think that shows what kind of level he's at, seeing what Said Nurmagomedov came back and did to his last opponent and just completely obliterated Mark Striegel 18-2 in the first round like it was nothing with a fadeaway check hook to ground and pound. Raoni Barcelos controlled. Said Nurmagomedov not only did good on the feet, but also did good in the grappling as well. He's a very well-rounded bantamweight with good power as well. I'm really looking forward to seeing what Raoni Barcelos can do against Khalid Taha, because Khalid Taha is a dangerous man in the bantamweight division, got a lot of power in the first round, and if there's someone capable of an upset, Khalid Taha is one of those people. He's just that kind of guy in the bantamweight division. He's like a Kevin Kroom. You know, there's certain guys you can just see and like, this guy is a decent underdog. I'm not going to be picking Khalid Taha, but he's a good underdog. I'm ill at the moment, by the way. He's a good underdog. And he's very dangerous. And those people that come out switched on early and looking to throw big shots do have a good chance in winning. I don't think Khalid Taha's going to get this one done. I could see Raoni Barcelos going out there, taking him down a couple of times, making him second-guess things on the feet, and then doing things well on the feet to maybe a third-round TKO finish. He finished Kurt Holobar when Holobar was 17-4. He finished Chris Gutierrez by rear naked choke, and Chris Gutierrez has been on a spree recently before his recent draw. I think he was on a 3-fight win streak. I'll just check it right now. Cody Durden went to a draw with him because they gave Cody Durden a 10-8 round for having his back for 3.5 minutes in the first round, even though James Krause had Trevin Giles' back for 3.5 minutes in the first round, and they didn't even give him the round, but they gave Cody Durden a 10-8 round. All good. I wasn't actually too mad at it. I don't mind. If someone has your back for the entire round nearly, maybe they should get a 10-8. But still, very dominant guy is Chris Gutierrez, and for Raoni Barcelos to have these wins over these guys, he's very dangerous. I think he's going to go out there and get it done against Khalid Taha. Then I want to see him rebooked against Cody Stamann, because we don't have time left, and I do think that Stamann beats him. So I want to use the hype of Raoni Barcelos' win on this card to turn him right back around, to get back in there, maybe a January on the McGregor card or a February on a different card. Maybe that's the Adesanya versus Blachowicz card. Put them on the prelims of that. Stamann versus Barcelos next. If he does get past Taha, that's what I want to see. But Barcelos, 15-1 coming into this one. Very, very dangerous. We have short memories. We have very short memories, because this guy, when he beat Said Nurmagomedov, I was like, okay, he's going to maybe run through the division. You know what I mean? Because Said Nurmagomedov, 13-1, dangerous guy. Everyone's talking about him. And Raoni gets it done. So I'm going to move on. But Raoni Barcelos is definitely someone to watch out for in that bantamweight division. Moving on to another guy on the card. Oh, sorry, misgendered. Yan Xiaonan is on the card, sorry. Not another guy. It's a woman. I didn't realize I had them in this order. I was going to go with the old can man first, but still. Yan Xiaonan on the card. Last coming off a win against Karolina Kowalkiewicz, will be taking on Claudia Gadelha on this card. I don't know why I said her surname like that, but it just sounded right. You know what I mean? But still, very dangerous person. Yan Xiaonan. I'll just say person in general, just to save myself from any misfortunes in the old gender situation from now on. But still, before that, Yan Xiaonan beat Angela Hill by unanimous decision, and did to Angela Hill what Angela Hill did to Claudia Gadelha, because I don't know if you guys remember this, but Angela Hill beat Claudia Gadelha very clearly, okay, in the second and third round, very clearly in the second and third round, but they gave it to Claudia Gadelha because, you know what, she's doing the right things backstage, I imagine. Know what I'm saying? It's a different situation. You know, everyone gets by their own way. It depends what Claudia Gadelha does with her mouth and a businessman at the UFC is none of your business. And it's none of my business. So I won't venture deep into that conspiracy. But still, Claudia Gadelha definitely lost to Angela Hill. And I want to say this, because this is very important. Angela Hill did to Claudia Gadelha in the second and third round what Yan Xiaonan did to Angela Hill in the second and third round. So what do you think Yan Xiaonan's going to do when she picks up the pace in the second and third round that was too much for Angela Hill, whose pace was too much for Claudia Gadelha? If Claudia doesn't get this done early, I think it's going to be a bad fight for her. 29-28 unanimous decision win for Yan Xiaonan. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a 10-8 third round or even a finish in the third round. Don't see it happening. No, Claudia Gadelha is a tough girl. She can take a shot. I will be going with Yan Xiaonan. Very dangerous. Beat Angela Hill. Beat Sayuri Kondo. Beat Vivian Pereira, who's 13-1 at the time. She's beating good girls. At the start of her career, she fought nothing but cans, but it's women's MMA. What are you going to do about it? Now she stepped up to tougher competition. Dominated Karolina Kowalkiewicz, but Kowalkiewicz was tough to stay in there. But still, I'm going to go with Yan Xiaonan getting it done. And if she does win this one, I wouldn't mind seeing her versus the winner of Amanda Ribas versus Michelle Waterson. Maybe they won't do that. I wouldn't mind seeing if Yan Xiaonan wins this one, maybe her versus a Mackenzie Dern. If she gets past Verna Jandaroba, one of these types of opponents will do. I think if she wins this, you could either jump her straight to the top. Oh, maybe you do jump her straight to the top. Shut your mouth, Guru. What are you talking about? Get in the fucking bin. Give me a second here, guys. I'm going to look at these strawweight rankings because she's 31. And I do want to say this. I know it doesn't really mean anything that they're both from China, but it kind of does mean something that they're both... That's a sellable aspect of a fight. When you don't have many fighters from the Chinese region, okay? And you have one dominant champion in Weili Zhang. And I say dominant, she defended her belt once, but still... She's a dominant fighter in the strawweight division. Chinese, you get Yan Xiaonan, that's so easily sell-outable in China, and you know that the UFC is frothing at the mouth at the potential of making that fight happen. If she does beat Claudia Gadelha, she'll be in the top 5. Nina Ranzarov needs to get removed. Go have another child for Nunes, you bitch. And then we'll move up. Yan Xiaonan, if she does beat Claudia Gadelha, maybe even against Joanna Jędrzejczyk, because Tatiana Suarez has done nothing but tweet during main cards of fight nights for the past year. So we're going to move her out the way. She can fight someone else because she's given up her chance. If Yan Xiaonan wins, her versus Jędrzejczyk, winner of that one gets a title shot against the winner of Zhang versus Namajunas. Moving on to another man on the card, the Can Man himself. Anybody can get it, especially Cans, other than his last opponent in Omar Morales. It's Giga Chikadze. Ah, Giga Chikadze. What an amazing meme of the UFC world. I'm just going to break him down a little bit here. Very dangerous. Fought a bunch of cats. His record is just... I love Giga Chikadze, man. There's some... you know what? There's just something so memeable about people. You know, I love a meme. Like, a meme background. Like, meme lore to someone. Like... You don't even have to be good. Like Nico Price, you don't ever have to be ranked, ever. People will love you. You know what I mean? Like, that's just how it works. But Giga Chikadze is kind of... People tune in because they're like, oh, he's got another can on his hands, and he has got another can on his hands, so he's not helping his case. But he did win against Omar Morales in his last fight, and I said, and I stand by this as well, if he does beat Omar Morales, and I picked Morales to beat him, if he does beat Omar Morales... I'll give him the credit he deserves. He's ready for the top level. 10-2 guy, beat a 10-0 guy. Best win of his career and looked really good while doing it as well. And also fixed some of his problems because we've seen him slow down in fights previously in his career. But maybe that was just a case of him finally getting a full training camp, a full 8 weeks, I believe it was. But still, I'm going to be going with Giga Chikadze against Jamie Simmons because Jamie Simmons, 7-2. You know what I mean? 7-2. 7-2. Got a good amateur career though. Like he's a respected guy. Beat a 6-0 guy in amateur, 4-1, 3-0, 11-3. He's beat good guys, but you got guillotined in the first round by Donnie Simpson, who was making his debut at 0-0, and you got KO'd by Jake Childers. I know he was 6-0, but still, I think that's something that we're going to have a little bit of a word about because Jake Childers is now 32 and went on to lose a fight to Justin Gonzalez by KO. But still, I'm going to be going with Giga Chikadze. But no more cans after this one, okay? No more cans. I swear to God. This is acceptable because he stepped up on short notice to save a card. But he needs a ranked opponent next. You've got to stop giving him these guys. I get it, he wants to make pay and he wants to make bank this year, which a lot of fighters are doing right now. It seems to be a good strategy because they're making more than top guys that fight once a year by just getting in 5 solid fights. And then when you turn around quickly, the UFC has to find an opponent for you quickly, and that usually isn't a top guy who needs an 8-week training camp. You know what I mean? So he gets this short notice opponent, dangerous style. I think Chikadze will get it done. If he doesn't TKO him, I'm going to be pissed off though. Chikadze has an opportunity here, and he's had it so many times against Erwin Rivera, Jamal Emmers, Brandon Davis, to make a statement against a guy who doesn't really belong in there with him, and he makes it too close. You made a good statement against Omar Morales, but Morales was tough. Finish this cunt, okay? Finish him badly. And then we'll talk about you going towards the rankings. He's a dangerous man. I want to see Giga Chikadze potentially versus a lot of guys. Grant Dawson, Cub Swanson, Hakeem Dawodu, all coming off wins just outside the rankings. You even got guys like Daniel Pineda, who beat Herbert Burns in the rankings. Like, there's a lot of guys that have high ranking spots. Nate Landwehr needs an opponent. Maybe we do a little bit of a Nate Landwehr versus Giga Chikadze. That would be pretty cool. Nate Landwehr takes a lot of damage, keeps coming forward. I feel like that's the style that's necessary to beat a guy like Giga Chikadze. But those are all my people to watch out for on this weekend's card. Thank you for watching the video. I noticed that the UFC put Tanner Boser in there. Fighters to watch out for, Tanner Boser. And Brendan Allen. Like, how dumb do they think that? Maybe they do think their fans are that dumb. But I find it surprising how the UFC, like, fighters you should know. Or fighters, they should literally retitle their video to fighters you already know. Unless you're an absolute bum and a casual. But still, all good. They chose to give the spotlight to Tanner Boser, regardless of him already being in the co-main event. I thought I'd give it to some people on the prelims. Like and subscribe. Click that button up there. Goodbye. Toodle pip.